All right. Greetings, all viewers, listeners. We have a very important interview today with someone who I've gotten to know and met last year. And the brother was suffering from prostate cancer. Um, but, he didn't talk about it much. We started working on some big projects. And, we got to know each other, and he opened up and let me know what was going on with him health wise. And, fortunately, I have experience in dealing with people with cancer, and we've gotten some good results in reversing cancer. So when he told me about his problem, I was pretty confident that we could help fix it. And so, a year later, uh, the problem has been fixed. So why don't we get into it? And we're just gonna do a nice interview, man. So y'all listen, take notes, and sit along for the ride. But this is a very important interview, and let's just get started. So you just tell people your name, man, age, profession, all those type of things, man, just so people get to know you.
Perfect. My name is Crawford Peterson. I'm senior. I do have a junior, so I'm Crawford Peterson Senior. I'm age 62. My profession is some mixed bag of things. I do graphics, programming, websites, content creation, fix furniture, do upholstery, electrical work, plumbing. I'm
All of
pretty
it,
handy.
all
Pretty
of it.
handy. Yeah, pretty
Manufacturing,
handy.
design, factory setups, all that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I've been blessed from the Most High and
Mhm.
able to see things differently from an artistic and construction, from a structural view, and have a different interpretation than the average person. But I give that gift to the Most High.
All right. So let's get into it, man. When did you start feeling sick, and what were your symptoms?
Well, I started feeling sick back in 2005. My pee stream started getting a little weak. It wasn't flowing as much as it was prior to that.
Your urination?
No, yeah, it was difficult urinating, but it wasn't
Okay.
painful. It was just
Okay.
slow urination.
Okay.
And I was in the Dominican Republic, and I spoke to a couple of people about it. They asked me had I ever had a PSA. Never had a PSA in my life. And in 2007, I decided to come home. And when I got home, I went to the doctor and they examined me and they found some problems. There was quite a few. One of them being that my PSA was at 40.625.
Hmm.
The doctor stressed a lot of concern about having a PSA that high. He said 4 is cancerous, and mine was 10 times higher than what they rate as being cancerous. So I didn't let that sink in, and I didn't let that scare me, but I knew I needed to do something about it. But then I found that I had other kind of conditions, cholesterol, that actually gave me some here, I keep these around. I didn't take them. So they gave me some stuff. It's called astervastatin.
Yeah, they probably gave you statins.
A statin, yes, a statin. They gave me a
Yeah, yeah,
statin.
yeah. Which actually
And
causes Alzheimer's, by the way. But go ahead.
well, I've never been a fan of taking drugs anyway.
Hmm.
So I didn't take the drugs. They gave me a few things. My heart was having some issues. At the end of the day, they couldn't figure out what was going on. And I didn't know it was called metabolic syndrome at the time.
Hmm.
But I went on trying to discover things. I'm just not gonna let somebody tell me something and I'm not gonna investigate. So I went on investigating and I found Joe Tippin's protocol using drugs that's off the shelf drugs that help. And actually, I think it did help. The problem was it wasn't complete. So I started taking all kinds of things and looking at different ways of trying to solve the cancer issue myself. Um, I went to a strict vegetarian diet and I didn't eat anything but vegetables and water. That was all I had. And I did that for about 6 months. Then I finally went to another doctor, specialist, and by then my PSA had gone up to almost 100. And the guy said, "Listen, you got to do something because you're going to get to the point when we can't do anything for you." And I said, "Well, I still am thinking about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to address this." And of course, they're still trying to push me to do the traditional thing. So I'm still taking tests. I'm doing all these different things. And then I started swelling up. That blew my mind out of left field. I thought everything was fine, but then I started swelling up. Couldn't breathe, legs swelling up. My vision was gone. I couldn't think. And again, still didn't know about metabolic syndrome. So all of these things was happening to me at the same time. And I met Bola in 2000, when was it? 2020. Bola's a spiritual guy who's highly spiritual and highly connected. And he started juicing with me. So we started doing juicing. And while that was helping, there was still an underlying problem, which was metabolic syndrome. Gone back to the doctor said, listen, you got to do something. Your PSA is still going up. As a result, I went in and they did a scan. I think it was a PET scan and some other kind of scan. They were amazed to find that my prostate was filled at 97% full of cancer in all 12 cores. And they said, listen, you got to do something. But what blew their mind is that the cancer hadn't spread. The cancer did not spread. So I believe everything I was doing prior to that was helping me, but not completing the process. So there was something still missing. You know me, I'm going to go out and I'm going to look at every book, every study, read everything that I can. Then I met you. So I think that all things are divine and it's coming together. When I met you, you discussed with me about metabolic syndrome. Had never heard of it. Doctors never discussed it with me. Oh, we believe in the science. I said, well, your science is not working. And I'm not interested in going through all the things you're asking me to go through. This as well is going to get to a point where you can't do anything for you.
What did they ask you to go through?
They wanted me to go through operation. They wanted to remove the prostate. And I looked at all the side effects of that. Said, I'm not doing that. I'd rather just go to the next phase before I do that. Then they offered me seeds, radiation seeds. And then they offered low dose chemo. I said, well, I'm not doing chemo. You can forget that. And all the solutions that they offered me, I wasn't willing to do, but they kept monitoring me. And they couldn't figure out why it hadn't spread. I said, well, if it didn't spread, that's a good thing. So something I was doing was correct. And then you discussed with me about the PSA levels, and you discussed with me about what olive leaf extract is and what metabolic syndrome was. And you believed that at that time that I was suffering from metabolic syndrome. And I said, okay, let me look into it. So, we discussed it back and forth a few times. You sent me some of the good old-fashioned stuff. Here's some homemade olive leaf extract. And I got on that and learning about what metabolic syndrome was. And I knew exactly that's what I had. You nailed it. It was when you said it to me, you were dead on. So when I did all the research, you told me to try the protocol. So I went into the protocol, and I tell you, the first time out of the gate, because I did this protocol 3 times this year, the first experience, I lost 3 inches on my belly. My vision cleared up. My mental capacity exploded. I was able to think faster, read faster than I ever had before. When I went back to the doctor, they said, well, your PSA is dropping. And he wanted to ask me what I was doing, and I wasn't going to tell him because they've been trying to push all these drugs on me. I'm not giving them any heads up. He said, well, at the end of the conversation, he said, listen, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So when I went back and said, I think it was late August this year, I went back, my PSA had dropped all the way almost to 0. And they're like looking at me like, well, what is it? I won't tell them. I said, there's no way I'm going to tell you after what you tried to do to me. And
so what was your exact PSA number?
My PSA was at 150.
Okay.
Last year.
Okay.
Now it's down to 0.1.
Okay.
And and it may fluctuate. I know it's going to fluctuate because of diet and everything that's going on around. But as long as I can keep it down below 1, I'm in good standing. I'll be here for the rest of my life. Enjoying it without cancer, that's for sure.
Right. Can you talk
about, and you and I discussed more about combining a few things and enhancing what I've already done and what you have already done for me.
Right.
So we're going to discuss that. We'll go more into it. But I'm excited. I'm excited for me, and I'm excited for what you've discovered and you helped me get to.
Yeah, man. When I first met you, it's been a year since we met each other, right? When
It's
I first
amazing,
met
right?
you and saw you, you look completely different, man. You look a lot younger. You put on weight. You look more robust. You look like a young man again.
Well, thank you. Feel good.
Yeah, you look like a great bill of health, man. And I'm emotionally moved to see that this worked for you. And I've refined the protocol with a greater understanding of what's going on. That yeah, it is metabolic syndrome, but there's some underlying causes as to why you even have the metabolic syndrome and why it matters to know that you have metabolic syndrome. And we'll get into that. But let's talk about the protocol that I gave you and what you did, what you started out with. And so, well, before we do that, let's start with metabolic syndrome, right?
Mhm.
So metabolic syndrome or metabolic disorder is an umbrella term that covers people with heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and even autoimmune illnesses. Really, what's going on is that due to the modern day diets that people are having, which is packed with carbohydrates and processed foods, what's happening is that people are developing insulin resistance. And let me just kind of describe that for people. So insulin resistance is basically when you need more insulin in your blood to do the job that insulin normally does. And what insulin does is one of the things that insulin does is that it transports glucose from the blood into the cell for energy. And the body uses two forms of energy. It uses glucose first, and then it uses fats second, lipids second. And when it switches over into using lipids for energy, that's when you're in fat burning stage. And that is what is called ketosis. Your body typically will require around 12 hours from your last meal that has carbohydrates or sugar to use the glucose, and then it transfers over into ketosis. What you want is your body to be in ketosis. But the problem is that most people don't go 12 hours without eating, and they don't go 12 hours without eating bad food or food with which we call simple carbohydrates, right? And that's the white flour, that's the sugar, that's the white rice, that's the vegetable seed oils that
Right.
cause inflammation. All of these things are inflammatory uh, provokers in the body. And if you keep eating those things, what happens is that your body has to pump more and more uh, of this insulin for sugar to move in from your blood to the cell. And what happens is that every year that you have to keep doing this of your life, your body develops an insulin resistance. It's much like an alcoholic, where an alcoholic, I'm someone who doesn't drink alcohol. So if I was to drink one beer, I would be extremely drunk. Whereas an alcoholic can drink a whole case of beer and it doesn't even affect them. Because what
Mhm.
they've done is that throughout the years, they have made their body acclimate to alcohol. So they've developed alcohol resistance. So they need more alcohol for it to do the job of making them drunk than I need. So
Absolutely.
what was happening with you is that over time, your body was creating more and more insulin for it to do the job that it needed to do. And you're getting a lot of blood sugar. And what's happening is that that sugar in your blood, whether you are even diabetic or not, you're developing insulin resistance. And when insulin is triggered in your body, insulin uh, is actually an inflammatory hormone. So it
Mhm.
causes inflammation. And you go into a state where you can become disease riddled because most of these diseases are based on inflammation.
Right.
But now I've even taken it a step further when it comes to cancer, to understanding that cancer is actually caused largely by intracellular parasites. And these
Mhm.
intracellular parasites feed off of glucose. They also feed off of a thing called glutamine, but the main thing that they feed off of is glucose. So therefore, if you shut them off of glucose, they die. And we start to find out that if they are intercellular parasites, there are three modalities of getting rid of parasites. You starve them, which is what you did, and we're going to get into your protocol, You starve them by fasting and also going into a ketogenic diet, a diet that has no carbohydrates, or at least no simple carbohydrates. If you're going to have carbohydrates, they would have to be complex carbohydrates where they don't have a high glycemic profile. But if you get into stage 3 cancer like what you had, you definitely want to starve them of all forms of glucose and carbohydrates. So you do a ketogenic diet. And I always tell people, all I need is 30 days. And that's what I told you. All I need is 30 days, man. If you can follow this for 30 days, I think we can get results, right? And we're going to get into more of the interview because I don't want to talk too much, but I want to kind of lay the framework and the groundwork for everyone who's listening to understand my train of thought when it comes to these things. And so what happens is that you have one modality of starving these intracellular parasites that are not only causing cancer, but they're also responsible for autoimmune illnesses as well, and then inflammation throughout the body in different forms. And we find out that heart disease is really in an inflammatory response in the arterial walls.
That's correct.
And so you really just have to deal with it from the cause root level, right? And the root cause level. So the second thing you do is you build up your immune system. And that's one of the things we sent you was vitamin D.
Absolutely.
Take high dose vitamin D. And I have, I've refined that protocol as well, that where you add not only vitamin D3 plus K2, which is what you took, the Herbal Results D3 plus K2. I don't know if you got a bottle there, but D3 plus K2. Yeah, no problem. And you would add magnesium and zinc, but that's something I've refined in terms of what your immune system needs. And then the next thing that you take, the third thing that you take is antiparasiticals. Because if the theory is that it's caused by intracellular parasites, well, we're going to wipe out the parasites. We're going to help them die. Absolutely. So you're helping them die by starving them, stage 1. Stage 2, you're helping them die by helping your immune system kill them, by making your immune system stronger. And then part 3, you are helping them die by actually having antiparasiticals. And so that's what the olive leaf extract did for you. And then that's what also the ivermectin did for you that I sent you. So absolutely. Why don't we let's talk about what you did. I know the first thing you did was the fasting. So let's talk about that.
Well, actually, I prepped my body first. Remember, we talked about
yes.
I had to get all the white oils in my system. So I had avocado salad, guacamole. I made a bunch of guacamole. I ate that. I had coconut oil. I had all mid-chain fats in my system. I did that for a week, and I took the ivermectin. No carbohydrates, no bread, no nothing. Just a vegetable, high-fat vegetable diet for a week. After I did that, I went on a 5-day fast, just water. The first day was a little uncomfortable. That was fine. The second day, fit right in. Third day, by the fourth day, I could run down the block. I was doing like, my goodness, my ability to think was clearer. And everything just changed. I started missing my belly every day. And literally, day by day, an inch was falling off of my belly, just about an inch. And on the 5th day, I know you said it's 100 hours, but I did the extra mile. I went the 5th day. And I could have gone longer because I had prepped my body properly before I set my body up for ketosis, which is one of the things we talk about that you have to be in order for this to work really well. So when I came off the diet, I didn't eat anything heavy because you lose your stomach lining after the first 24 hours. So I slowly came in. I had the vegetable soup, very, very, very light broth. I did the broth for like 2 or 3 days. Then I built up to a little bit more vegetables. Then I went into a regular diet. But I did intermittent fasting until the next time. 90 days later, I went and did the process all over again. And I just repeated that 3 times this year.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the ivermectin that you took and the olive leaf that you took.
Yes.
I remember when I sent you the ivermectin, they were 12 milligram pills, and I asked you to take 2 of them per day.
Yes.
So you took
take one. The first day, take one.
Yes, just to see how it would work with your system. And so the thought process behind that is that anytime someone takes something new to their body, you want to take a low amount just to see if they have an allergic reaction or they have what you call a Herxheimer response that's violent. And so you were able to tolerate it.
Correct.
And you did that before the fast, because what I
Correct.
found out is that because you got all these parasites in your system, actually the hunger is coming from the parasites calling for food when you start doing the fasting. And so it becomes more difficult. So I tell people to try to do a cleanse, a parasite cleanse before you do the fast, maybe 2-3 days. You could take the ivermectin, you take olive leaf, and different things as well. So you did that, and then you did the fast.
Absolutely.
Did you just drink water only during the fast, or did
Just
you
water. Just
did
the
you
water.
add any lime to it or anything?
I think I might have put lemon a
Hmm.
couple of times, but for the most part, it was just the water.
Okay. And did you do any electrolytes like sea salt or anything like that? Okay.
No, I know you recommended it to do
Yeah,
that,
if you got
but
weak. Yeah, but
exactly, but I
yeah,
didn't
but
get
you a
weak.
soldier. You went hardcore. You said, forget that. I'm going straight water, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, it did. And then after you get off the fast, let's talk about your diet. What are you eating?
Just veggies. Like I do cabbage because
Hmm.
I mean, it's carbos, but it's very low, but it's
Hmm.
complex. So what that does, it gives me the fiber that my
Hmm.
stomach keep my stomach and intestines everything tight. So I do cabbage. Sometimes I'll do it raw, and
Hmm.
sometimes I'll steam it, but I'll mix it up with veggies, all kinds of veggies, mostly green bulky
Hmm.
veggies.
Let's talk
Like
about the oil you were using.
coconut oil. That's my
Yes,
salad dressing plus seasoning. I'll do
exactly.
my seasoning with my coconut oils on it.
Hmm.
I'll definitely eat an avocado. I try to eat an avocado at least 3-4 times a week, but they're getting
Hmm.
expensive now. But I
Yeah.
try to keep the olive oil, and definitely I buy me a liter of coconut oil.
Okay.
So there are times I'll cook with coconut oil all the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm eating raw, I'll take the coconut oil and I'll put it in capsules, and I'll take them in capsules. The same
Okay.
thing with the coconut oil and the olive oil. But I
Mhm.
get the high quality olive oil. I don't get the stuff out of the supermarket. And it's in
Right.
a glass bottle from Doctor. What's his name? I forget his name. Anyway, you know who it is if I brought his name up. But I do all the mid chain fats in my
Mhm.
system all the time. I keep that in. And with the olive leaf, I take that and I put it up under my tongue.
Right.
Now, it took me a minute to get used to that.
Because it's bitter, very bitter. It's bitter, but here's what we find out. If these intracellular parasites love glucose and things that are sweet, what would they hate? The opposite. Things that are bitter.
They don't like the bitter.
Yes, the bitter, what you find out is that everything that's bitter pretty much is anti-parasitical. And
Absolutely.
I even have a study, which I'll share, later on, in a lecture I'll be doing in about 2 weeks,
Hmm.
that actually there are bitter receptors on cancer cells that once they
Oh,
get triggered, they actually cause apoptosis. This is crazy.
oh, wow.
Very interesting, right?
So it's just not eating causes apoptosis, but the sour receptors.
Yes, the bitter
Wow. Oh,
receptors.
bitter receptors on it because
Yes,
of apoptosis. Wow.
exactly. So
Interesting.
it's very interesting. So yeah, it was bitter for you to get through. Let's talk about how much olive leaf you took per day.
Initially, I was taking it 3 times a day, maybe
Mhm.
4 times a day. I was doing
Capful or teaspoon?
a capful, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it got so bad the cap was dirty. I had to keep washing the cap off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I
You
was
want to show people the bottle that you were taking? So we have two versions. We have
this
the
one
herbal
extra,
results. You took the maximum strength, the
just the
olive leaf
maximum, yep.
extract plus
Plus.
phytonutrients. That's what we give to people with cancer. That's the strongest olive leaf that we have, and I think it's the strongest olive leaf in the market. Because that's
But
what we
based on what
used
you
to
were
get.
telling me, there's 98% absorption. So
Yes.
that's huge. There's nothing on the market that I found can do that.
Yeah. So liquids have a 98% absorption, and most olive leaf uh, companies, they're making olive leaf in tablets and capsules, which
Capsules.
is a 10% absorption. So you don't get the same power. And then the other companies that make olive leaf extract, they're using vegetable glycerin extraction, which is 3 times weaker than
Mm,
I use vegetable alcohol extraction, which makes it stronger. So that's why we get in these types of results. I mean, there's some other things we do in terms of our extraction process to make it stronger, but we just want to give people the best thing, man. And so as long as people can get over the bitter taste, I always tell people, if you have cancer, if you have metabolic disorder, embrace the bitter, because the bitter is what's going to save you. Because
yeah.
all your life you've been embracing the sweet. and the
But
sweet
you get
was
used to it.
causing you the problem. Yeah, you get used to it.
Get used to it, yeah. And if you have a problem taking it, just chase it down with a little bit of tea. Just like some herbal tea. I don't do coffee, but I guess coffee would work. But with my tea, I do lemon ginger.
Okay.
And I'll put all my African herbs and stuff. And I get this blend. You know, my friends laugh. They say, "Man, you drink that?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah, it's incredible, man. So you took that 3 times a day, and you did it for how long?
I did that for the first 30 days was 3 times a day, and, with the exception of the fasting time. Then I came off and I did it 2 times a day. Now I still do 2 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it in the morning and I do it in the evening.
And morning and evening, and then you took it along with the ivermectin as well, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Right, and you took what, 2 pills per day?
I took 1 pill one day, then I took 2 pills per day after that.
My and each pill is 12 milligrams, so you took 24 milligrams a day, and that was enough. And so, how long did you do the protocol before you went in to see your doctor again?
It was like 6 months.
Okay, so you did it for 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's measure the time, because
it was January.
So January you started the protocol.
Yeah, we did the first protocol in January.
Okay.
And then I did this protocol again in March.
Okay.
And then I did it again. Oh, so it was 3 times before I went to see him. So, yeah, okay. I did the protocol 3 times before I went back.
And when did you start? You started feeling better almost immediately? Man, after the fast?
I was like on cloud 9 after the fast, man. I had my bowler was telling me, he said, "Man, how fast you're reading is incredible." Right. I felt this. I felt it. I mean, this
so
nothing
felt the difference.
I felt it was like night and day. Okay. My processing was so much better. I felt like I was in my 20s and 30s again.
Let's talk about your symptoms. When did you start seeing your symptoms go away in terms of your prostate symptoms?
Well, my prostate symptoms went away after the first protocol.
Okay.
I started being able to pee. The first 30 days, I was able to pee normally, because they have been sending me all kinds of drugs. I got them around here somewhere. I just keep them as a reminder where I came from. But the symptoms went away. They were trying to get me to take these drugs for Flomax. They were trying to get me to take Flomax. I said, I'm not going to keep taking these drugs, man. Once you start taking the drugs, your body becomes dependent on these drugs, then you're hooked. So I just let my body do what it needed to do, get healed, build up my immune system, did everything that I needed to do. So all of the symptoms, I would say by the 4th or 5th month, disappeared. I mean, I was peeing like a horse, like a champion, man. I was like, wow.
But you were saying that after the first 30 days, that's when you noticed that you could just pee normally.
Yes.
So 30 days. Let's talk about the vitamin D3 plus K2 that you took. How much did you take of that?
Now with the vitamin D, I did high doses of vitamin D. I was doing 10 to 15,000 international units a day. I did that for 6 months.
Right, and that's what I advised you to do.
Yep. And I took the vitamin K. I took the vitamin, because the vitamin K was already mixed in with the vitamin D that you gave me.
Yes.
But then I bought some zinc and what's the other one?
Magnesium, probably.
Magnesium. Yes, I got the magnesium and I got the zinc, and I took that together. I did that for the first 30 days. And I tell you, night and day. So I'm on vitamin D, because right now I ran out of what the vitamin D that we had, but I need to get some more. But I have others in tablets. So if I run out of the liquid, I'll take the tablets just because they're here.
Right.
So I don't not go without my vitamin D, without my K, without my zinc, and without my magnesium. Now, magnesium takes a little getting used to your body to acclimate to it, because it causes diarrhea. But I'm past all that now.
Yeah. Now just tell people. So there's different types of magnesiums.
Correct.
And magnesium citrate is the one that causes the most diarrhea. The magnesium that I advise people take is magnesium glycinate. And magnesium glycinate is the one that's good for the whole body. And if you have some brain issues and some mental issues around anxiety or what have you, a lot of times it's because of a lack of magnesium that's going to the brain. And then you want to take magnesium threonate. And that is that's the magnesium for the brain. But in terms of what you needed for your immune system was really magnesium glycinate. So yeah, I'm happy to hear of that. So every day you're taking, so let's go through your regimen, right? So you're doing 1, you did your fasting to start everything off. Well, you did a little parasite cleanse to start everything off. Then you do your fasting, and then you change your diet to a ketogenic diet. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then you're taking the olive leaf extract 3 times per day, right? A capsule 3 times a day. You're taking 24 milligrams of ivermectin as well. Then you're dealing with your immune system. You're taking about 10 to 15,000 IUs of D3.
Vitamin D.
You're taking your zinc, and then you're taking your magnesium as well. I don't know if you remember how much zinc you were taking and how much.
Yeah, I'm taking 20 milligrams.
20 milligrams of zinc, and how much magnesium were you taking? Do you remember?
I don't remember the magnesium count.
Probably 1 or 2 pills per day.
It was two pills a day.
Okay, yeah. Usually the pills are around 200 milligrams.
200, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so probably 400 milligrams per day. So this is pretty much your regimen, and you're sticking with it, and you're hitting all those 3 angles, right? Diet, starving intracellular parasites through diet, which is also causing you to now have a metabolic change in your body.
Absolutely.
Your insulin resistance will be gone. Your blood glucose will be gone because you're not eating all of these like senseless, deleterious carbs. And then you're enhancing your immune system. And then you're doing parasite killing of any type of intracellular parasites that we believe is responsible for the cancer. And that's pretty much that's the Herbal Results protocol. But what I want to get to, Crawford, is there's 2 milestones when someone is recovered. One, the milestone of you knowing your symptoms are gone, right? So there's a happiness that comes with that, right?
Absolutely.
And you start seeing your body change, your energy change, and all of that. But the second milestone is when you go see the doctor.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
They want to know. They want to know.
Let's talk about when you walk into the office. Let's go through that whole process, because they basically sentenced you to die.
Absolutely, they did. They did.
So
and they said they believe in the science. They believe what they do is the right thing to do. And, I'm asking questions. I'm sure I'm the only one who've asked them questions like I did, because they were stuck and they couldn't answer the questions. I said, so, well, if I do this, how do I change my diet? Oh, diet doesn't matter. You can eat sugar, and you can eat this, you can eat cake, you can do whatever you want. And I'm looking at the guy like he's got 3 heads. I already know better. So I'm like, well, why would you want me to eat that way? He says, well, if you want to eat healthy, then that's your choice. I said, no, that's the way we should eat. And he said, no, well, we believe in the science. Because they denounced everything that I discussed with them about diet and health, staying away from certain drugs. And I'm like, well, that's not my understanding. And they just kept trying to push me into this box.
Right. It's just chemotherapy and radiation and surgery. That's pretty much what they got for you. And the crazy thing, Crawford, is that they actually don't even know the science. There's 2 types of science. That's the science that is sponsored by the pharmaceutical companies, which is a flawed science. And there's a science that is a science that doesn't have any type of financial remuneration attached to it. And that's the science where you get around drugs that are out of patent, or herbs that are out of that can't be patented. Now you actually start to get real science, because there is no way that someone can get a monopoly from patenting any of these things. So most of the science that doctors deal with is the science from pharmaceutical companies towards them patenting a drug which they can monopolize, right?
That's correct.
So that's the science he's talking about, and that's what they're trained for. But every single thing and every single aspect that I'm talking about, there's scientific studies that back up everything that I was saying. Every single thing that I told you, there are studies on the National Institute of Health that show that, a ketogenic diet actually is great for anti-cancer. Fasting is great for anti-cancer. Building your immune system is great for anti-cancer. Vitamin D, high dose, is good for anti-cancer. Ivermectin is anti-cancer. Olive leaf extract is anti-cancer.
It's documented. It's all documented.
Yeah, it all exists.
I know, because you turned me on to all of this stuff, and that's when I went to the deep dive. I went crazy studying this stuff, and I'm feeling almost like an expert.
Right. Well, no, you are, because the proof is in the pudding, man.
Absolutely.
Right. The proof is in the results. The expert is judged by the results, not the degrees that they have. Right. And we saw exactly how many of these so-called experts failed us during the Fauci pandemic. You know, so we saw the emperor wears no clothes. So what we're doing is that we're doing self-help, and we're using our, you know, our minds and our brains to solve problems. And you're living proof of being able to attach intelligence, because you're intelligent enough that if I was talking foolishness, you'd have been like, what Heru's saying is foolish. You went to back check everything that I was saying, and you saw the studies. And you said, oh,
Absolutely.
let me do this. You know, it's not like you just believed what I was saying. You actually went and you did. Let me see if what this guy is saying is true. You know what
But
I'm
you know,
saying?
it's a good thing that I did. I mean,
Yeah.
and you met me at the time that was the perfect coalescence of building my health again, because I had tried all the other things. While they may have helped, that wasn't all that I needed. I
You mean
needed
the
this
other things outside of the medical system?
exactly
Yeah.
outside the medical system, right? Because I had tried a lot of stuff outside the medical system,
Mhm.
and I think it helped me to some degree. But was the thing that took me over the finish line.
Right, right. To turn it
Without this,
around so people can see the name, so that if people want to get it, yep, that's it right there. Olive leaf extract plus phytonutrients, herbal results. Anyone can go to herbalresults.net and you can get it. And you can contact me. We can go over the protocol, and you can get the same results that our brother Crawford Peterson got. But Crawford, let's get to the moment of truth, man. You walk in, you get an appointment with your doctor. And where is this? This is in Pennsylvania?
no, in New York.
This is New York.
I'm in Pennsylvania because they listen. Let me tell you how desperate they are. They send me drugs to take, and it's still in the package. I'm like I said, don't send it. I said, don't send me this stuff. Don't send. I'm not gonna take it. Hormones. I said, I'm not taking it. They said, no,
Right.
you got to take it for 3 years. I said, I'm not taking any of it, man. Because they said, well, if you're not going to do the chemotherapy and you're not going to do this, do the hormone therapy. I said, I'm not taking anything. They send it to me, say, go to your doctor in Pennsylvania. They said, Luperon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yeah? This if you read it, Luperon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they sent me. They said, go take this to your local doctor and have them stick you with it. They don't give up.
Right.
So I'm
So
like,
6 months later.
I walk into the office. How you
Okay.
doing, Mr. Peterson? Healthy. You're doing everything we discussed? I'm doing everything that I discussed with you. Well, what do you mean? And they go do the blood work, and the blood work that they could do that day came back to the doctor while I was waiting. And he's looking at the results, like he's just looking at the piece of paper. He's looking at it, he sits back on his chair like this. He looks at me. How you feeling? Never better. And he's looking at the piece of paper. He says, well, your PSA. That's all he says is your PSA. I said, well, where is it? He says below 1. I said, what's the number? He says 0.1. I said, great. He said,
It was what before?
149 point something. Say this round up 150.
That was the last time you saw him was 149.
Yeah, that was last
Right,
year.
right,
That was a year ago.
right. And then you see him again, and
It's
he
down to
gets the
0.1.
number. Mm-hmm.
And he's like looking at me, and I guess he's waiting for me to tell him what I did. And I said, yeah, I'm doing good. Because I'm not going to tell him, man. I'm not going to tell him, because he'll go back to that, oh, we believe in the science. Me too, the natural science.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
he just sat back in his chair, and he just kind of looked at the paper. He says, well, whatever you're doing, you just keep doing it because it's working. I said, yeah, I feel good. I said, I've never been clearer about what I'm doing in my life. And I guess the guy couldn't believe it, because like I'm thinking to myself, he's thinking he lost a whole bunch of money. And he wants to hear what I did. And I'm not telling him. All I said is, I'm eating better. I stuck to my diet. I didn't get into the olive leaf extract and all that stuff, because it's all available. All the information that you shared with me, I found on the internet with all the studies that's being done. And there's over 100 studies that have been done so far.
On olive leaf extract.
On olive leaf
and
extract,
cancer.
just olive leaf extract.
Mm-hmm.
Over
And
100
cancer.
studies. I mean, like some profound studies. So I'm a firm believer. No, it doesn't matter when you get started. The idea is to get started.
Right.
And you'll be happy with the results. Now, for me, I want to live as long as I possibly can. We're all going to transition, but I want to live as long as I possibly can. So it was easy for me to change my diet, to change how I do things, to change, have a different lifestyle. I've talked to people about their health and sharing with them my experience. And one person, well, I got to have my meat. And I said, well, maybe this process is not for you. So not everything is for everybody. You want to live healthy. You want to be vibrant. You want to feel young. I'm 62 years old with a 9-year-old son. And I have to be active every single day with him, doing study, homework. I'm teaching him the piano. We go over music theory. And I still got to run a business. I got to take care of things. I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I want to be around my boy. Because when I was ill, I mean, I couldn't tolerate it. I literally had to go, I can't do it right now, son. I can't do it right now. Now, he and I are wrestling all over the house. I'm showing him some martial art moves. My wife was like, y'all just like need to relax. I haven't felt good in a long time, but it feels really, really good to be good, to feel good.
So when you were at your lowest, what was that? What was a day like for you when you were at your lowest in terms of being sick?
Didn't think I was going to wake up the next day. That's how bad it was. I couldn't breathe. I literally had to sit up in a chair for 2 or 3 days at a time because I couldn't lay down and breathe because of the inflammation. Excuse me, sorry. The weight on my chest was so bad that I couldn't take a deep breath. Now, one of my fears, I'm claustrophobic. So I don't like things closed in. And not being able to breathe is the worst feeling you could ever have. Because no matter where you are, you feel like you're stifling. So my legs were so swollen that I couldn't even put my shoes on. It was bad. My vision, everything was bad. My ability to think. I got a little cold right now.
It's all right.
But it was bad. It was bad. There was days I laid down and said, well, Most High, if it's my time, it's my time. I didn't think I was going to wake up the next day. That's how bad it was. For me, the inflammation in my spine was so bad. I couldn't, every time I moved, I would, and just double over like that and just get stuck there. I had to have somebody come over literally and walk me over to something else or move me or literally pick up my legs and move me. Because the inflammation was all the way from my spine all the way down through my legs.
Wow.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
And how is your wife responding to your transformation in health?
She's taking it. She has a problem with the taste.
With the olive leaf?
Yeah, so I gave her some. I said, because she has arthritis. She took some of this for a month. All the symptoms went away. Her arthritis was so bad, they told her that she was developing, what is it called? I forget the disease, the joint disease.
Okay.
But I said, don't listen to that nonsense. Take some of this. She took it for a month, and she took the vitamin D. I got her on the vitamin D and the K. So she's doing that. And she said to me just about 2 days ago, she said, but look at this. She said, man, my fingers haven't felt this good in a long time. I said, you got to stay on it though. I said, you keep going off and going on, going off. She said, yeah, but it doesn't taste good. I said, well, try to do it at least for a week, 2 times a month.
Right.
A week on, a week off, a week on, a week off. This way you're getting some benefit. I mean, a lot of benefit actually.
Right, right.
So I encourage her to do it.
So, but in terms of you, I mean, I can imagine being in her shoes and she's watching her husband kind of whittle away, right?
Yeah, she was scared.
And all of a sudden, then you bounce back. She sees a whole different type of man now, right?
Absolutely, no doubt. She says she called all her friends who were ill. She said, you got to talk to him because what he did was, we thought we were going to lose him. We thought he was going to die. Because she said to me the same thing. I knew it. I knew it was obvious. I was in bad shape.
Right.
But she says, she was happy to see the change. And for her, it was a rapid change. I had been ill for 5 years.
Okay. I
had been ill from 2017. I had been ill up until this starting the beginning of this year.
That's when we met. Yeah,
exactly.
We met in December 2022, right?
Exactly.
So you now, have this new lease on life and what have you. What would you say, what's the message that you would have for other people? Because you were diagnosed, they said it was stage 3, correct?
Yep.
Right. And so, and they said that your prostate was 97% covered with tumor,
Covered
correct?
in all 12 tubes.
Okay. And so when your doctor did an exam of your prostate,
Yeah.
and what did he?
You can't palpate, you can't palpate, you can't feel it. Before, it felt literally like a lemon in my prostate. I mean, in my rectum. That's how protruding it was.
Right.
It felt it was about the size of a lemon.
Right.
Now it's not palpable.
Right. And that's basically what they said is there's no evidence.
There's no evidence
tumor,
that there's any kind of inflammation in the prostate.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
It is.
What is the message that you would give to anybody who's diagnosed with cancer based on what you've been through, what you've seen, what you went through, and the discipline that it takes for you to get to the other side? Like if you were to talk to people, because, you know, people with cancer, they're looking for hope, man. They're looking for whether they go to their doctor, whether they decide not to go through the medical route. They just want to, they want hope. And the strongest, most efficacious message comes from someone who's been there.
Absolutely.
Right? So, you know, like you're actually like a living beacon of hope for a lot of people with cancer. And so like, give them a message, man.
Well, here's my message to anyone who is ill, and particularly with cancer. If you don't give it all you have while you can, then that's something you're going to have to live with or die with. If you want to beat it and you want to live, no matter what the outcome is, grab the damn thing by the horns and run with it. Do everything in your power to survive. You have the power to do it. The only one who make a decision whether you're here or not is you. So when I hear people say to me, oh, but I can't give up my meat, that's psychotic to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Based on what you share with me, I have nothing else to lose. Because my next step would be stage 4, then death. That was where I was heading. So if I have nothing else to lose, why wouldn't I give myself the best chance possible? And doing everything that I know I can do to beat this and not give up. The whole idea is not to give up. And you have to have faith, more faith in yourself than anybody has in you. I listened to the doctors and I weighed what they said. It went against everything that I believed in. And I found a way naturally. That's me. That's what I did. I'm not saying that everybody should do that. I'm saying what I did. I looked at my odds. I looked at my numbers. I looked at where I was. What did I have to win? And what did I have to lose? The win was, if I beat this, I'm good. I'm good until, you know, I'm not going to die of cancer. That's not what I'm going to die. I'll die of something else. But I looked at my odds. So I'll tell anybody who has cancer, look at weigh your odds and look at it. What is a couple of months of trying to beat this thing by giving up everything you thought you knew that you thought you knew? We already know that if you stop eating, cancer dies. Period. That's just the way. That's what fasting does. So get accustomed to fasting. That's a simple thing to do. It may be hard in the beginning, but you'll get adapted. But if you prep your body before you get into a fast, like getting in with the high fat quality oils and stuff that you can take, because that's the brain, the blood-brain barrier. It increases your ability to think, and it takes away the hunger. So all these little things that you showed me along the way made sense. And when I did all the research on it, it made sense. Like, all right, let's do this. Let's get my body prepared. I prepared my body. Then I went into the fast. And in each one of those steps, I felt better each step that I took. I'm like, this is working, because not only do I feel better, I know I'm not cured yet, but I feel better. And that was the first thing, is getting to that point where I can feel better. When I felt better, I said, all right, we can do this again. So 90 days later, I did it again until I got comfortable doing it. Then I felt better then. Then I did it again. I said, oh, this is a lifestyle. This is something I can do. It was a matter of how much do you want it? If you want it, these are the things you have to do. Change that lifestyle, adapt, because it's possible. Science already knows that cancer cells die off if you don't feed them. So what do you have to do? Cut off their food source. Sugar, a better immune system, fixing your DNA by all the things that we're doing, because your DNA gets repaired as you're going through these processes. So it stops making bad cells. It starts making good cells. and your immune system increases. So if you want to survive it, do one step at a time. Prepare your body, do the detox, get the fats in your body, get into ketosis. So when you take that step to do the fast, it's easier. That's what I did, and I found it being very, very helpful by listening to the protocols. I'm an extremist. I took your protocols. Some of it I went further. I added more stuff to it. So I want to get rid of it. I said, I don't want to live like this, man.
Right.
It's a terrible way to live.
Yeah,
Not knowing you're going to survive.
Yeah, man. You look great, man.
I feel great, man.
Yeah, you look great, man. From when I met you last year, I mean, you look like an older man. Now you look like a younger man. I mean, really, it's the difference is it's stark, man. And I'm just glad that we took this time to do this interview and this conversation, because I haven't seen you in a while, like physically seen you.
Yeah, we've been talking, but we haven't seen you.
Yeah, we've talked, but I haven't seen you. And I mean, I can see the difference in you. You look like someone who's been resurrected. I mean, you look young. I'm serious. You look young, man. You look like someone who, if it wasn't for the gray hair, you could pass for being in your 40s. Like, I mean, you're in your 60s. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the energy is different, and even your articulation's different, man. It's just, I gotta say, man, I'm emotionally moved. At your
thank you. Me too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm emotionally moved at your progress, man, and I'm just so happy we met, and that we can just continue spreading the word that
absolutely
cancer is not a death sentence.
It is not.
Blood pressure, heart disease is not a death sentence. Diabetes is not a death sentence. Autoimmune illnesses is not a death sentence. They all have the same root cause, and if you attack it from the protocols that we talked about, you've got a good chance of coming out on the other side. And we're just going to just stack up more and more evidence. And so you're just a living testimonial. And it's not really me who can take credit for it. You see, the issue is this, Crawford, is that you can give somebody what you think will work, but it's up to that person to actually have the discipline to do it.
Absolutely.
And your level of discipline, your level of grinding to say, I'm going to get to the other side of this, is proof positive in the results that you got, man. Because absolutely. The issue that I have with people is I can give them a protocol, but I don't know that they're going to take it 3 times a day because they're going to complain it's bitter. I don't know that they're going to not eat that chocolate donut. I don't know that they're going to not eat that pizza, you know what I mean, with white flour, and you know what I mean?
But those are addictions. What I discovered along the way, all those things are addictions. Yeah, you have to break the addiction.
Those are
like addictions. You don't drink, neither do I. So right. I've never been addicted to things. I mean, I'm addicted to my work. I mean, that's right. Physical. But right. In terms of drugs and foods, I'm not I can break any addiction. I mean, when I realized I was eating the wrong things, I said I can stop that in a heartbeat. That's not a big deal. But like you said, it takes commitment. If you want it, then this is what you got to do to get it.
Absolutely,
so,
man.
You helped me cross that bridge a great deal. And I thank you much for that, because if I hadn't met you, I don't know where I would be.
Hey, man, that's what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for, like in brotherly love, in the love of absolutely. Humanity. Cancer is a scourge that is killing so many people. And it's a painful process when you do the chemotherapy, the side effects of the radiation, it literally burns you. So the fact that we can offer an alternative that's working, and is working better with better results, and you don't have to go through that pain of chemotherapy and that pain of radiation, you just did it naturally. And it's just the only pain that you had to go through in this process was the pain of discipline. And I'd rather go through the pain of discipline to the pain of chemotherapy.
Or pain of a knife.
Yes. And the pain of radiation. Yep. And the pain of watching people you love watch you die slowly.
Yeah.
You know?
That bothered me a great deal, because like I said, I got a young boy.
Right.
And he wouldn't have been able to comprehend that, because he was 7, he's 9 now, he'll be 10. But when I was ill, he was like 6, 7 years old. And he would look at me, and he put his head on me. He said, "Dad, you okay?" He understood. He would get my slippers and put my slippers on and take my slippers off. Now, when a child sees that, That's hardcore. And they see that their parent is helpless. You
Yeah,
know, so
that's
you know,
real, man.
so
That's real.
that gave me a lot of stuff to live for. You know, I mean, he gave me a whole life to live for. Because I want to see him bear children. So he know his dad is still about to see his grandchildren.
Yeah, man. Crawford, man, enough respect to you, man. Enough
Enough
love,
respect for you too, man.
enough,
Same
enough
here.
love, enough love, enough love to you, man. You're a great inspiration for all of those who've been diagnosed with this thing called cancer, which, my opinion is the medical establishment has the completely wrong understanding of it. And that's why they're not getting the results and people are suffering the way that they're suffering. If they had the proper understanding of it from the root cause, you would get the results. But, that's what they say is that, insanity is marked by people who do the same thing over and over again
Oh,
and
that
expect
thing is
different
different.
results. You're not getting these results. And,
Yeah.
you didn't do chemo, you didn't do radiation, but here you are on the other side of it with a 0.1 PSA reading going from 150 or 149 point whatever to 0.1. You're jubilant, you're happy, you're strong, you feel young again, spend
Yep.
time with your child, your wife is happy,
Absolutely.
everyone's happy,
Absolutely.
man. So this is what it's all about, man. It doesn't get any better than this.
Nope. All I have to look forward to now is retiring at an old age. And
Love
I'm
it,
not
man.
retiring anytime soon. So I got a lot of work to do.
I love it, man. I love it. So yeah, Crawford, man, thanks so much for this interview. We can do, some supplementary interviews as time goes on. If there's other things that you want to talk about
Oh,
in
absolutely.
terms of your journey and your path. But I think that you are a great beacon of light for people who are similarly situated around the cancer diagnosis, who are looking for a solution that makes sense. And so I think that you'll be a great resource for people as well. I don't know if you want to give your contact information in case people want to talk to you, or maybe they can reach you through social media.
Well,
Uh,
the best way is if they send me an email.
okay.
That's the best way because I'm not a social media guy. So,
Okay.
the best way to contact me is by my name. It's Crawford.Peterson.sr as in senior at Gmail.
Okay.
I get hundreds of emails a day. So give me some time to look through them. If you send me information, if you want to communicate with me, I've been blessed to be able to work with Herbal to build a blog that we're developing. And I won't get much into it in this call. We can do supplemental videos on that
Hmm.
and what that entails. But
Yeah.
that was a year journey with the information that Herbal had given me initially, and all the research that I did and found that I know this is the way to go to cure most diseases, if not all of them.
Right.
So we'll have another supplemental video and we'll
Yeah.
talk more, and that's because that's more detailed.
Yeah, man.
I believe in it so much that I actually created a blog that talks about it and found all the studies, all
Hmm.
the stuff that people put out that people just miss and don't get. And
Right.
Big Pharma don't want you to know it.
Right. And where can people get that blog? Just give them the address.
That blog is called blog.herbalresults.net.
Yeah.
Blog.herbalresults.net. There you'll find a plethora of information about metabolic diseases and what it causes and who it hurts and who can, what the studies have found to reverse things. They know. The
Right.
information is there.
Yep. It's there. And just for people to get some clarity on it was that, the way I met Crawford was Crawford deals with a lot of SEO marketing. And so I was looking for somebody who could help with marketing of herbalresults.net, and he was referred to me. And it just so happened that he had cancer. And so when he, when we're talking about business, he tells me he has cancer. Well, if my website is what it really is, I should be able to help him. And
No
so
doubt.
we have this professional relationship, and then it turns into this personal health relationship where put your money where your mouth is. If this really works and I'm going to do this for you, I need to know that it actually really, really works. And so when we started getting the results, and no pun intended with herbal results, but once we got the results, man, Crawford said, Haru, let me run the blog. And
No
I said,
doubt.
yeah, Crawford, go ahead. You're the best person to run the blog because you've gotten these results. And so you can speak from personal knowledge, and that's what I do. The people that I work with they become family,
Absolutely.
because I mean, people are so grateful that you've given them a way out that we have lifelong connections, So
Absolutely.
me and Crawford, we're on a mission to let people know the good news, man. And so it's a pleasure meeting you, Crawford, man. It's a pleasure
Likewise.
being able to assist you and your family. And it's a pleasure that, we have this reciprocity type of relationship where you're also getting the word out about what we do at Herbal Results. And so it all worked like together in this like serendipitous fashion, man. And so,
Absolutely.
I just want to again say salute. Enough love to you and your family, man. And
Likewise.
let's make this known worldwide, man.
Absolutely. And again, the protocol is there. Haru has you also have a protocol on your website that's slightly different than what you gave me.
Yes, that's just more of a
That
detox protocol.
correct.
But that's light. That's for people who aren't necessarily sick. It's just, you
Exactly.
got to move people along. But I will be putting an ebook online, which has the protocol that you did that's actually been refined. And it is really about cancer as an intracellular parasite and how to reverse it. And it goes through the studies, it goes through testimonials, and it goes through the actual protocol. And so that'll be online for people to download on herbalresults.net. You just
And
go.
we'll do a blog on it as well, a blog
Yep.
article with the review, and we'll send it out to our growing list. Our list is growing now. Our list is well over 4,000 subscribers to
Nice.
the blog, and we're getting, people writing back about their results and how they feel. So, well, where this has been all my life, and it's something that I needed. I have people in other groups that I belong to are purchasing based on my story that I tell them, and my marketing groups. I belong to several cancer groups, and now I'm going to be doing articles and dropping those articles in my cancer groups to help people out. So we're looking to expand this a great deal. So
Yeah. I think we can make a difference in the world, man. And
absolutely,
let people know, hey, there's an alternative to the low performance of the medical industry. So,
absolutely,
the best thing is that the results speak louder than words. That's our tagline. And so, I'll be interviewing many more people, but we just want to make sure that we memorialize your story and that people can reach out to you if they have questions. People can reach out to me. People can go online and download the protocol and also get the products necessary to, turn this thing around, man. So,
mm-hmm.
um,
Oh, just one
but
more thing before
yeah.
we change, before we shift on the blog. Depending on what ailment you have, there's very detailed information about how much olive leaf extract you should take, when you should take it, and what to eat with it. It's very detailed. We're going to be doing more stuff on the health diet side of it as well, in combination with the herbal results and how to make that part of your daily regimen, because it gets into the detail of all the different ailments that people may have. Like you said, it's not just for cancer. So it's for people who have heart conditions, kidney conditions,
Yep.
lupus. I mean, you'd be surprised the litany of things that I found where olive leaf extract actually can help. So if you or someone go to the website and look on the website to see where you might fall in that area and see how the olive leaf can actually work for you.
Yeah,
So
man. So Crawford, thanks a lot, man. And people can contact you if they got
mhm,
problems. They can contact me as well. And we plan to make a difference in the world, man. So thank you
absolutely.
very much, Crawford, and salute to
Thank
you and
you.
your family, man.
Same to you and yours.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Peace. And everyone can go to herbalresults.net to get all the info they need. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.